Fight fam, what it do? All right, so we are back with the fight prediction for Marques Valle versus Luis Georges, which is going to be on the Pro Box card Friday, August the 15th. This card will be in Plant City, Florida. So I am located in Tampa, Florida. I'm a personal trainer and a strength and conditioning coach for boxers and MMA fighters. So I am aware of the fight scene here in Tampa, Florida. And I know Marques Valle personally. I know how good he is. So I'm going to give a breakdown based on the stats of the fight. Then I'm going to talk about each fighter's attributes. And I am making a max bet on this fight. Now, if you're going to bet on this fight, please do not bet anything you cannot afford to lose. For me, I'm not betting anything that I can afford to lose, but I am betting a significant amount on this fight. So let's go ahead and look at each individual's stats. And I did a deep analysis on this fight. I even took like a lot of notes because Marques Valle is coming off of a loss. And I wanted to make sure that my pick was not biased at all. So we're going to go ahead, go through the stats, and go through the breakdown and why I'm making this a max bet. All right, so let's go ahead, look at each individual's record. Marques Valle, he is 10-1. He is fighting out of Wesley Chapel, Florida. He is 26 years old. His latest weight for his last fight was 153.5 pounds. So his last fight was at 154 pounds, but he is fighting at 160 pounds for this fight. Marques Valle is massive. He's a big guy. So 160 is going to be even better for him because he has significant power. So I think he's going to be even better at 160 pounds. I'll talk more about that weight here in a second. He is 6'1", 75-inch reach. So again, Marques Valle, he is big. So going from 154 to 160, I feel like he's going to be stronger. Even when I've seen him train at the gym, when he hits the bag, the gym shakes. He has significant punching power. He comes from a family of fighters. His two brothers will also be fighting on this card. So I'll be breaking down Dominique Valle's fight also in a separate video. And then their younger brother is making his pro debut. So he's coming from a fighting family. Now, let's look at Luis Georges' record. So interesting. On Tapology, they have him as 11-0. But I like to always check BoxRec as well because Luis Georges is from Dominican Republic. So sometimes guys that are fighting in another country, all of their fights might not be on Tapology for whatever reason, but BoxRec will typically have them. So his record is 12-0 with 10 knockouts. He's a southpaw fighter. He's 29 years old, and his latest weight that he fought at was 168 pounds. So remember, this fight is going to be at 160 pounds. So he's coming down in weight to 160, and Marques is coming up in weight. So I'm already looking at that right there to say, okay, this guy is coming down in weight. I need to see what he looks like at the weigh-ins, which will be tomorrow, because I'm imagining that he may be dehydrated. He's been fighting 168 his entire career. Normally, as guys get older, they do not go down in weight. They go up in weight. So I'm very curious to see what he looks like. And again, now Marques is going up, and I already told you all Marques is a big guy, and like even seeing him outside of like training camp, just seeing him around, like he stays in shape. He's constantly in shape. He's constantly working. He comes from a fighting family, so he's not like blowing up and getting out of shape in between camps. Now, his last fight, he did lose to Damian Sosa in a split decision. That was a very tough fight. Damian Sosa is very game. He fought Xander Zayas after that, and we see how good Xander Zayas is doing. He lost to Xander by unanimous decision, but Xander is the real deal. So, yeah, Marques Valle had a tough loss. So when I'm looking at this fight and I'm seeing that the guy, Luis Georges, that he's fighting is 12-0 with 10 knockouts, and then I see he's a southpaw, I'm like, man, that's a tough fight to be coming into off of your loss. So what I like to do is I like to look at people's opponents to see what type of opponents are they fighting, and then I like to look at their fighting style to see like, okay, how does he fight? So I'll say right off the bat, Luis George's fighting style, yeah, he's southpaw, but he doesn't have a lot of good lateral movement. He likes to back straight up against Marcus. That is not going to be a good idea because he's aggressive and those big shots are going to be coming. And I definitely see him at least getting dropped in this fight. I see Luis Georges getting dropped in this fight, if not potentially stopped, because I believe this is a 10 round fight, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, you said 160. I'll check that in a second, but I'm pretty sure this is a 10 round fight. And Marques Valle, he is going to apply pressure the entire fight. He's not going to let off the gas. He's in tremendous shape. So when I looked at the opponents of Luis Georges, I noticed quite a few things. So he did have a layoff in there from 2022 to 2024. And a lot of the guys that he fought, they fight at all different type of weights. It's like I don't know what's going on in the Dominican Republic on the boxing scene, but it's like crazy. So for example, his last opponent that he fought in December of 2024, and Luis Georges won that by TKO. But it was a guy that I'm gonna just tell you all this guy's weight classes that he fights at, and I'm not even going to name all of them because I'm looking at the box rec and I'm like, there is no way that this is possible. It's almost like he shows up to a fight and they're like, all right, or he shows up, they ask him about a fight and they're like, what weight are you right now? Okay, we'll fight at that weight. All right, so he fought Luis Georges December 12th, 2024. And this guy's name is Angel Yamar Mateo Arias. So when he fought Luis Georges, that fight was at 169 and a half pounds. His next fight, which was in February of 2025, it was at 161. Then his next fight in April of 2025 was at 194. Then his next fight in May was at 175 pounds. And it's like, and all of them were losses, of course. His fight right before Luis Georges was 176 pounds. His fight before that in September of 2024 last year was at 157 pounds. So my point is that Luis Georges is not fighting guys that are at 168 pounds that are stiff competition. You know, he looks like to me that he's building his record. That's what I'm getting from that. And then he also had a fight in July of 2024. Now, granted, this was after nearly like a 2 year layoff, so I'm going to give him grace there. But he fought a guy that was 0-1. He knocked him out, making him 0-2, and he was knocked out two times. And that guy's listed as light heavyweight. Now, I don't even know what was the first weight class that guy fought at, but he's listed as a light heavyweight. Then his fight before his layoff, he fought a guy named Ivan Herrera. Ivan Herrera, they went to the decision. Luis Georges won by unanimous decision. It was an 8 round fight. Ivan Herrera's record is 3-10, and he normally fights at 160 pounds. And he's been knocked out 6 times. Luis Georges did knock him out. He went up to fight him at 168, and he dropped Luis Georges in the 5th round. Luis Georges dropped him as well, dropped him 2 times. I think it was the 3rd round. But he also dropped Luis Georges. And if Ivan Herrera drops him, Marques Valle has the potential to really put his lights out. So Marques Valle, as I said earlier, very, very strong, very aggressive, great skills, and he's coming off a loss. So I see him coming into this fight extremely motivated. Again, I know him personally. I know he's been in shape. Like he stays in shape. He's constantly working. Like I don't like go watch him work out or anything, but I have seen him work with his brothers before, and I know he's a professional in the sport. So for me, you all know I don't just come on here and say this is a max unit bet. I think this line is extremely off. I think Marques Valle is being severely underrated based on this line that I'm seeing. Let me check the line price again. All right, the odds for this fight for Marques Valle is minus 450. Luis Georges is plus 290. I'm taking Marques Valle all day, max unit bet. I don't see any prop bet odds for knockdowns or KOs, but just taking him on the money line, I'm going to parlay that with his brother, Dominique Valle, and Gary Antonio Russell. So I'll have a three-leg parlay. I'll post it for you all. This is a max bet for me. And I may even do a individual bet on Marques Valle at minus 450. I'll have to see how the line changes, but I think this is one of those opportunities where it's like I have to jump on it again. You all don't have to follow me. Let me know what you all think of this bet. But Luis George's fighting style, he's southpaw, but he's not slick. He tries to throw with power, and I think that right hand and left hook. We got the clash of the orthodox versus southpaw stance. That right hand and left hook is going to land on Luis Georges, and I just think he's going to get put down. And this would be a good way for Pro Box to get Marques Valle back in the win column because he's going to go up against a guy that's 12-0 with 10 knockouts, going to look great for his resume. But when I really look into who this guy, Luis Georges, is fighting, like, I think he's in trouble in this fight. And then he's coming down to 160 pounds. And Marques Valle, I mean, I don't even think he's going to stop at 160. I think he'll go up to 168 at some point. Like, Marques Valle is big and he is strong, so that power is going to carry over. I'm excited about this fight. Since they did put the odds up, I will be live streaming the fight. So you all come to my channel on Friday evening. We're going to watch the fights together and hopefully win a lot of money together. All right, as always, don't forget to like the video, share the video, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the fight, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.